Irish Media Network. We entertain.
Hello guys, it's Saraya Ryan here and welcome to another episode of About Last Night. We are here at the Button Factory in Temple Bar for our gig of the week and we're going to be chatting to Joey Negro. See you in a bit. I'm with Disco House Master David Lee, aka Joey Negro. How are you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. Really is the best. How are you doing?
I'm all right. Yeah, just about. So come here. Obviously, we're here in the Button Factory tonight, Bank Holiday weekend, and but you've played in Ireland millions of times. Do you remember any of your gigs, or do you remember your first gig you ever played here?
I think it was in the pod. I know I've played in Belfast, I think in Thompsons Garage, but I think the pod was first. I think that was the first one.
The pod was always a legendary place to play. So over the years, obviously you've played in every country, I'd say. Do you have a favourite country that you love to play in, or crowd?
I think the place I look forward to playing in the most is London, which is where I live, and I know the crowd really well, and I kind of know what I can get away with, and I think, when I get a new record, which I really like, I thought that I can definitely play that next time I'm playing in London. I might be able to play it here tonight, but I just know, when you turn up somewhere, not necessarily Ireland, because I know Ireland reasonably well, but a lot of gigs you're getting to, you're playing in somewhere like Mexico or Singapore or I don't know where, the Philippines, and you don't know what it's going to be like. Maybe you might have played there before, but not in that particular venue, and something else might be happening that night. There might be a football match on, whatever. So it's very, very unpredictable, and sometimes it can be, the guy before he's playing really commercial music and whatever, and you just have to do your best. So I like London just because I know the crowd, and there's other places I've played, which are visually spectacular. I mean, I played a really beautiful place this year in Lanzarote, which was in a cave. It was an amazing underground venue. It was amazing. So I played loads of really beautiful scenic places. I mean, that actually was okay, but sometimes those places aren't necessarily the best musically, or the crowd aren't going crazy or whatever. It depends on it really depends. But I guess sometimes knowing, like when I used to play in Southport Weekender quite a lot, which was in, where was it? Southport, I suppose. But that was somewhere where I knew. Yeah. I knew the crowd. I knew that you could play quite soulful and jazzy and obscure music. So that was always something I enjoyed doing as well.
So take me back to where your music started for you and how you got into the music industry. Tell me how you started.
Well, I was when I was a teenager. I was kind of in. I had a guitar, and so did my brother. We used to jam together, and we used to record songs, write songs, and record them on my music centre, and then play it back on the music centre and overdub, and record it on his cassette player. And then I was in another band with a friend, and I used to sing with that one. And we bought a drum machine, and that was a little bit more professional, but still pretty ropey. But it taught me a lot about the basics of recording. We went into a studio, and I knew a little bit about recording. And then when house music first came along, that's when I thought, I could make maybe music like I'm actually buying. Because I suppose up until that point, I was buying like Earth, Wind and Fire and electro records, and I couldn't envisage being able to make that sort of music because it just seemed like I just didn't have the equipment or the group of musicians required, whereas house music was all sampling of just one person and a piano and a drum machine and whatever. So I thought I could do that, and I hooked up with a guy I used to go to school with who had a studio. He was a local businessman, had invested in, and he was more like a rocker, Pink Floyd type fan. But I played him some early house music, and we had a go at making it. And the first thing we did wasn't really, in retrospect, very good, but it came out and it did okay, and it kind of made you think, it wasn't really what I wanted to make, but it came out and it sort of was better than I thought it was, and we just kept going. We and him kept going for about 3 years, but he got fed up with it because we weren't making any money, and then I carried on my own, and it's gone through ups and downs over the years. Yeah.
So, so any advice for for people that are starting out? When you were starting out, what would be one bit of advice that you would give?
I guess really to sort of like, if I was starting out now, I would try and find some local musicians to work with.
Yeah.
I wouldn't just try and do it completely on my own, because I think musicians can really help you if you're making music and you're a DJ predominantly, you might know what works in a club, but you don't actually know how to play chords and, I don't know, other instruments, like saxophones or whatever. So if you can hook up with musicians, they can definitely make what you do, your raw ideas, a lot better. And then I guess also trying to finish things off. Don't just like start something and think, oh, it's crap, I'm going to start something else, and then start something else, because you do get bored with things. Yeah. There's a magic moment, maybe, if something's any good, or even if it's not that great, where at least it sounds exciting to you because it's all new, and then you've got to spend quite a long time arranging it and getting it to sound good sonically, by which time you're often sick to death of it. Yeah. There's lots of things I put out that by the end I'm just so fed up with them. But I know I've got to keep going with them to get them as good as I can get them, because sometimes you can have little breakthroughs at the end that make quite a big difference to how the actual finished thing sounds. And then when you have finished it, got it as good as you can, get it out there. Even if you can't find a label to release it, put it on SoundCloud or get it on YouTube. Yeah. If you are actually talented, you will break through eventually, even though it might not seem so. I mean, and being talented isn't just about being like a really good singer or whatever. It is also about, one thing I've always felt, I'm a finisher. I finish things off. Yeah. And I'm also quite objective. I know when something's not right. So I'm not going to just think it's brilliant because I've done it. I might actually the opposite, but I just try and stay objective. If you think, oh, I'm fed up with this, leave it, come back to it in 6 months. Yeah. But if it was any good, it still can be good. It's just maybe you've just lost objectivity on it, and you need to, give it a rest and come back to it. But don't just look for the buzz of just starting something off and then leaving it and not really ever finishing anything, because you're never going to get anywhere.
No. Can I ask you a question? Was music always going to be something that you wanted to do for your future, for your career?
I think since I was about 8, yes. I remember watching Top of the Pops when I was a little boy, and I mean, I wanted to probably just play guitar in a rock band. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted to do it then, and I think I've had a brief flirtations with maybe doing other things. Yeah. But music.
Anything we should know about?
I can't think of what they would have been. But I mean, I suppose music was sometimes it just felt impossible. Yeah. Just making a living out of music just feels like, when you're not in the business, that doesn't feel like that's an option. So you're thinking of like, could I be a hairdresser, or could I be, just because you think, well, that seems like that's a realistic career path more than music.
But Joey, do you know what? We have had an absolute pleasure to talk to you. You're so lovely, and you're going to smash it out there in the Button Factory tonight. Thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Bye.
What's the crack, guys? It's Dara, back for another episode of About Last Night. I'm down here at Misfit to interview Systematic label head Mark Romboy. What's happening, guys? I'm down here with Mark Romboy, head of Systematic Labels. So thanks for joining us. Thanks very much. How are you enjoying Belfast so far?
Yeah, I have just arrived, so far I know Belfast by night.
By night? Well, it's a good place to know by night, at least. So are you excited for tonight?
Yeah, of course, always. Always nice to share music with people.
So you've been to Thompsons before, back in 2014. What was that like?
Was it 2014?
I think so, 2 years ago? Or 4 years ago?
I'm not sure. But yeah, it was really good. I mean, I'm always happy to play here anyway. So people are really anticipating the music, and that's what I like.
Fantastic. So you have a very wide selection of music that you play from. And I read a little bit about your upbringing in music and the genres you're into. So there's a lot of mix there, like more classical side of things. So what was it about dance music that really stuck in your head and made you want to delve into that a wee bit further?
Yeah, first of all, thanks for the flowers. Well, the thing is, for me, it's not about dance music really. For me, it's about electronic music and for generating new sounds and sounds you maybe have not heard before. And when you bear this in mind, it's not really a question whether you make the music for the dance floor or for a concert hall. So that maybe explains my range.
So if you were making music, what would be your aim? Like, what would be your end goal whenever you're producing music?
Yeah, music must move. Music must be moving. And I was always fascinated by, let's call it alien sounds.
Good alien sound.
Special sounds, something which is a bit offbeat, which sounds kind of unheard.
So just a lot of different noises that people aren't very used to. Oh, I've got a wee visitor. I'm sure he's sound. So whenever you're playing your gigs, would you play more your own music, or would you play a mixture of your own music with other producers?
Well, I mainly play my own music because I would say if somebody wants to see a concert of, I don't know, Rolling Stones or Phil Collins,
they want to hear your music.
To Rolling Stones and Phil Collins. So,
of course.
Yeah, playing my own music plus my musical color made by other people, mostly friends anyway.
Yeah, of course. So your friends obviously would be Stephen Bodson and Patrice Baumel. That would be kind of collaborations you would work with mostly.
Yeah, you can read my mind. Patrice Baumel, Stefan Botzin, Rodriguez Jr., Peter Dundorf, that kind of guys.
Of course. So tonight in Thompsons, I'm sure you're buzzing for that one. But how would you say the crowd would change as you travel around the world? For example, going from Ireland back into the UK, all over Europe. How does it differentiate? And from what you experienced Thompsons last time, how does that differ from other gigs you played?
Well, I don't think so much about the change of people because I'm always happy when I see closed eyes.
They're in the moment.
And relaxed, happy people. I mean, that's one of my aims, that people can do something like meditation when they are in the club. And I don't see so much changement. I mean, it's always,
they're all people.
Always more or less the same intention why you go to a club.
It's a getaway. It's a getaway for everyone.
Getaway is the perfect word.
Well,
my spokesman.
I just know his head. But anyway, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
No problem.
Down here at Misfit with some of the punters. Lads, why aren't you dressed up?
Why the fuck not?
We're all about Christmas, not Halloween. Christmas is a wee bit away. Like, Christmas is the best part.
Christmas is the bee's knees, you know what I mean?
So excited about Mark Romboy tonight.
Obviously.
Obviously. So
questions?
I've got a few, mate, alright? So what do you think about the new lineup that Thompsons has released for the following couple of months?
It's good, it's ready for the bee. It's ready to go. We'll be here every week, you know what I mean?
So is there anyone that you want to see? Any picks?
Everyone, it doesn't matter who, you know what I mean? We're just here every week.
All of them good? Nobody that you have in mind that you really want to see?
Nah, just everyone. We're here. We
I can only respect that, mate. I can only respect
everyone,
that.
and everyone loves us, and we're just here.
That's Thompsons, isn't it?
Yeah, we're Thompsons here.
Can we just do a quick shout out?
Go for it.
Shout out Josh Tippin.
Yeah!
Right, lads, appreciate it. Cheers. Have a good night.
I love you.
This has been Dara down at Misfit. Had an absolutely smashing time with Mark Romboy. What an absolute gent. Make sure you lock in next week.
My heart is broken and I'm left here rocking back and forth.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to episode 9 of About Last Night. I'm Joe from the West Coast team, and I am the luckiest boy in Ireland this weekend because I am down in Cork for the Jazz Festival. Why wouldn't I be? This is the spot to be this weekend. This weekend we are meeting up with the inimitable soul singer Soleil. She was on our other 22 live show on Irish Media Network. We're going to catch up with her just before the show, just before she knocks the lights out in Cypress Avenue, and we're catching up with one of the guys, James, from the New York Brass Band. Playing in the background, as you can see, we're here in the River Lee Hotel, and it's going to be a massive night, so stick around. Good evening and welcome to episode 9 of About Last Night. I'm Joe from the West Coast team, and I am with the inimitable, the heroic Soleil. We're just back from our gig. It was amazing. You blew the roof off Cypress Avenue.
Thank you so much. It's so fun. I love playing Cork, and it's my second time playing it as well. So
It's Cypress Avenue.
yes, Cypress Avenue. Yeah. And just amazing venue. The crew are amazing as well. They always give me so much love, and I'm always like, during sound check, I'm like, I want this and I want that, and they're so nice about it. Like, so I love it.
Crowd was unbelievable as well.
Amazing. They're always giving me energy, and I'm always so surprised. I'm like, oh my God, you guys know my songs. But they're so amazing, and the energy that they give me just gives me, like, it doesn't make me nervous. And I wasn't nervous, like.
Well, you didn't seem to be, and you do a lot of kind of crowd interaction. You do a lot of chatting with the crowd and stuff like that. Do you get a buzz off that? Is that good crack?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And I'm a chatterbox as well, so I love just talking, and I'm not exactly. But I just love having a chat, because I just feel like there's no other way that you can connect with your audience, you know. And the best way to do that is by talking to them. Like, how's it going? How are you guys?
You're dead right, yeah. And you it obviously comes very naturally to you because you built a really good rapport, even in, like, for the set that you were there, if you know what I mean. You were also on our other show, 22 Live, on Irish Media Network. Tell us about that.
Oh, that was amazing. You know, having the band with me as well to do that. It was sick. The crew are amazing. I had fun, and I can't wait to see it because I haven't seen it yet.
So just for our viewers, it is coming out on November 1st. So this coming Thursday. I actually said it last week. Apparently, you blew the roof off the place. It was, I'm genuinely not gushing. The feedback was incredible. I honestly, I haven't seen it, so I can't wait to see it, genuinely. So Irish Media Network, subscribe to the YouTube page, log on Thursday. Exactly, plugging it all. So tell us, you've had a mental year in the best way possible. What were the highlights?
Probably
putting you on the spot.
You are putting me on the spot. Of course, festival season, amazing. Be nominated for Song of the Year again, second year in a row, was amazing. I don't know, like, there's so much. But
no, look, you deserve it. You're nailing it. Like, honest to God, you deserve everything that comes your way. But there is an EP coming out in kind of April next year, probably. Give us some little hints.
Yeah, it's coming soon. That's what I'm working on right now, and that's what I've been focused on. This year I hadn't released anything, only towards the end of the year, just because I was really focused on getting that EP right, and I'm still working on it as we speak. So it's I'm excited. I just can't wait to bring it out. You know what I mean?
You're not the only one. I think we're all a little bit excited for it to come out.
I can't wait. I'm so excited, and I hope it's well received when it's out. So you guys stay tuned.
Stay tuned. It's coming soon. And then I suppose look at Cork Jazz. We were kind of talking about it earlier on. It is special. It is kind of like, it's such a good weekend. It's so much crack. You've played here last year as well. What are the highlights for we'll say a Cork Jazz virgin like myself? What are the places to hit?
To be honest, I just come to perform. So I just come and perform. I haven't gotten the opportunity to like hang out and like go and check out all the other places. So I mean, if anybody who's watching this knows, y'all should DM me and let me know for next year, you know, so that I can come a bit earlier and just hang out with everyone after my set or whatever. But whenever I do come down, the show is amazing, and just the energy on the street, even when we're driving down from Dublin, it's just like the energy is amazing. People are literally out, and even if they don't know you, they're like, come and hang out with us, come out with us. That's so dope. So definitely I think it's a great place to come to in around October. So if you have,
and this is why we are here. This is the place to be this weekend. That's why we're here. Come here to me. Thank you so much for sitting down with us. Thank you so much for your time, both on 22 Live and for tonight. And thank you for your performance. It was amazing. Thank you so much. Thanks a minute. evening, folks, and welcome to episode 9 of About Last Night. I'm Joe from the West team. We're down here in the River Lee Hotel with one of the infamous members of the New York brass band. How are things?
Yeah, good. We love coming back to Cork. This is our 6th year.
6th year?
6th year in a row, yeah.
You're obviously getting something you like.
Well, yeah, it's just a great weekend at the end of the summer. All the festivals are done. This is kind of our last big festival of the year. Yeah.
So you're playing obviously in the River Lee. Where else can we catch you this weekend?
Yeah, well, we've got every day at the River Lee. Then we're at Reardon's on Sunday night. We're at the Woodford on Saturday night, and we're at the Metropole on Saturday night. I think there's going to be a lot going on at the Metropole.
Yeah. And can I ask you something? If you're not playing, like in between shows, who would you like to see?
Oh, wow. Well, we've just been watching Hypnotic Brass Ensemble get ready for their gig tonight at the
Indeed, caught up with them. Yeah.
They're super cool. Yeah, well, there's also a young band called Rebel Brass who are based in Cork from Cork Music Hub. Cork Music Generation.
Okay.
And they'll be out on the streets, and they're kind of a New York brass band tribute band from the schools in Cork.
Very good.
And we've been kind of working in the schools over the past few years, and they have just gone ballistic.
For jazz, is it becoming really big in schools?
We sent them over a few of our tunes, and we worked with them for a few days, and we came back last year, and they're absolutely amazing. Rebel Brass.
Nice, yeah. One to watch, folks. Yeah. This is why you tune into About Last Night, because you hear stuff here you don't hear anywhere else.
You'll see them on the streets. And they're great. They're something Cork can be proud of, definitely.
Excellent. No, that's really, really great to hear. And I suppose kind of touching on that a little bit, if you were advising someone starting up a brass band, if you were starting someone who was getting into jazz, what advice would you give them?
It's about learning the scales and getting the freedom to step away from the music. You know, like a lot of musicians are stuck to the page, and they're
experimentation is important.
Yeah, and it's like a security blanket having a piece of music in front of you, and it takes a lot of confidence to step away from the music and start to practice your own things. And there are scales that you need to learn, and there are hours that you need to put in practicing. I think that's the best advice.
Yeah, fair enough. And finally, look, come here, thanks so much for having the chat with us. It was like, as well, we got loads of shots from inside because you had the place rocking. It was unreal. Can I just ask, I suppose you were saying you're winding down now a little bit, 2018. Have you any upcoming gigs that we should look out for, or is it 2019?
2019. We're heading to Rio to the carnival.
Nice.
It's kind of February when it's really cold over here. Yeah, we're jetting off to Mardi Gras in Rio.
Jeez, I wish I could come with you. Come here, thanks so much for having the chat with us. It was brilliant to meet you. I would love to be kind of sticking around and catching all your shows. Unfortunately, I have a couple of other ones to go to. Fortunately and unfortunately, but
to Rio, you could carry our bags. And,
Okay, coming this February, About Last Night, episode probably 25 at that stage. Rio, catch us there. Thanks a million.
Well, that's it for another episode of About Last Night. We had an amazing chat with Joey Negro. We hoped you enjoyed it. Next week, we are going to be talking to Craig Wilson in Pygmalion. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week.
Irish Media Network. We entertain.